Well, we've all heard this saying, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. And you know, we've talked to some gardeners lately who have wished that the rain would just go away, period. Now, you and I know that it won't be too much longer that we'll be complaining and wishing that we'd get some rain. But sure enough, all the rain, and especially the record-setting rainfalls, are causing a lot of problems in our gardens. We're already starting to see some leaf diseases on potatoes and tomatoes. And some of these, there's not a lot we can do about some of the effects. And I want to visit with you a little bit about some of the things that may be showing up in your garden as a result of all the rain. And some of it will be showing up for weeks to come even. Well, first of all, on tomatoes, it seems like that's one of the favorite plants in the garden. And it's not uncommon when we see a lot of rainfall, cloud cover, that the leaves will actually start rolling up on us. Now, in some gardens, the tomatoes are actually standing in the water. And it's interesting, Professor Kays, who was a host of Oklahoma Gardening several years ago, had called up to talk to us about some of the things that he had recommended even with some tomato problems. And he was telling us that if tomatoes are standing in water, that what he had found several years ago was to put maybe like straw mulch up against the stem of the tomato plant or some kind of loose organic matter. And because the tomato stems will grow adventitious roots, that the roots will actually start growing out of the stem into that mulch or the straw. And that way you'll get some new roots formed and they can overcome the other roots that are actually in the water that may possibly die on you. So we appreciate him sharing that idea with us, and it may be something you want to consider. But again, in addition to the leaves rolling up, it's not uncommon to start seeing some of the foliar diseases on the bottom of the plant leaves too, from where the soil is being splashed up, and that's why it's so important to put mulch out during some of those conditions. Also, you may even just see stunted growth on a lot of the vegetable plants. They're just sitting there and not really growing, and a lot of that is because of the oxygen content in the soil, but also because of the nutrients that are being leached out of the soil from all the heavy rains. So if you've planted some garden crops lately too, you may see some damping off problems with seedlings. We have a whole row of cucumbers that have been in the ground for almost a month, and we've only got one starting to germinate. So we feel like a lot of the seeds have actually just rotted on us right in the soil from pre-emergence damping off. Now, in addition to the vegetable garden, in the orchard you're going to see a lot of berry rots possibly on your strawberries. The grapes will start getting a high incidence of the black rot, which is where the berries just start getting spots and rotting. Again, it's just contributed to all the moisture that we've had. And the most frustrating thing is that when we go out into the orchard to try to stay on a preventative spray schedule, it's almost impossible to do that with all the rain because we'll miss our schedule. And just during that short period of time with the optimum conditions, the diseases will start spreading on us. Now, you're also liable to see some pollination problems. The initial fruit set, maybe on some of the fruit trees, vegetables, the fruit will just fall off because of poor pollination with the heavy rains and all the windstorms. Well, we'll be trying to get back on schedule, spraying in our fruit orchard, fertilizing our lawn and landscape and vegetables, also mulching to get the weeds under control, and hopefully the weather will start to cooperate a little bit more so you can also get back in your garden and landscape and also get things back on schedule.